Hey guys, so Dan from Trading with Dan here. So I've literally just got out of bed to come and do this video for you guys because I think it's pretty important. That I just let you guys know what I am thinking here. So what we have had happen is the Fed has come out and cut interest rates basically straight to zero, and then announced that they're doing QE5, but obviously we know they've been doing QE for a while now. So just their little backdoor undercover QE. I've never seen anything so desperate, so obviously desperate happen in these markets ever. And I was trading markets in 2008 when Lehman's went bust, and so I have seen like turbulent market conditions. But with how high stocks were, and then also with the rally that we had in stocks on Friday as well, basically up to here, this was Friday, to see us here now. I mean, I was actually talking about this as this pump was going on in one of the Discord groups, and also in a Telegram group that I'm in, about how this is like the most bearish thing. This is a full-on panic. I mean, what this tells us is that the Fed, that does have all the information that you can possibly get on what's happening in the money markets, in the financial markets, in all those debt and bond markets. They felt the need to cut straight to zero and start QE now. That is the biggest vote of no confidence in the current state of affairs that they could possibly have done. And so people know that the Fed knows a lot, and if they've had to do that, then that's just crazy. And then you have to say to yourself, well, they've cut the rates from what they were to zero. So I mean, they've cut it to zero because obviously at the moment their zero is the zero bound. They don't necessarily want to go negative, but that just tells you that, well, if rates were higher, rates were 25 basis points higher, 50 basis points higher, if rates were higher, then they would have cut them even more, which then tells you that they're just cutting them as much as they possibly can in one go, and that was just how much they could possibly do it. So you can only assume that they'd even want to do more than that. And then if we do get into negative rates, I mean, that's a whole nother kettle of fish that then brings the whole financial system into question. And obviously we've seen in Europe it's not words. But so if you look at this price action now, obviously this was Friday's. This is the S&P, which is the S&P E-mini futures contract. So this is in real time as well. I mean, if you guys are trading view, you may have this delayed, but I basically pay extra to have it in real time. So this is the real time quote. You also probably have like a little circle and a D at the top, and I think it's delayed by 10 minutes, I think. But anyway, so you can see, I mean, it's getting even worse now. We're selling below the levels that we were trading basically before we had that pop up on Friday, before basically Trump said they were going to do whatever they were going to do. So I mean, this is really bad for these markets. I mean, now that we've got the Fed rate cuts out of the way and we've got QE started, it's like, now that we have behind us, now everything's set for the markets to literally collapse by, like, say 50%. And I mean, if that does happen this week, then that happens this week, doesn't it? But even if it doesn't happen this week, I think over the next few weeks and months now, we're going to get some serious declines in these markets. And so obviously over to Bitcoin, you can see we've rallied off it as well, but obviously we've still not retraced basically. But this was weekend, this is the whole, we've been trading over the weekend anyway. But I will basically refer you guys to what my video before, when I said at some point BTC may decouple from its stock market correlation, purely on the basis that it may start to factor in an actual collapse of the current financial system. Because I mean, basically the financial system as it is died in 2008 anyway. So we've had like a Frankenstein financial system based on bailouts and just rates that are too low for too long and too easy money, to sort of keep it alive as long as it could. I mean, if you can even call it alive, keep it resembling it's alive and sort of functioning. But yeah, so now we are getting to the point where it's like, well, can we last much longer now? What does a world with deeply negative rates look like for the current financial system? I mean, I can't even answer that question other than I don't think it looks good. So yeah, so gold is making a move up and is sustaining the move. Obviously stocks are just weak, are going down on this. Oil is now going down on this too. And yeah, so I would be careful. I'll be careful, obviously, FOMOing in on any longs in Bitcoin, because this is quite easy looking like we were at least initially follow stock markets, and we're going to dump from here. So yeah, so basically, as zero edge, I call it zero edge because they have zero edge, but they're called zero hedge. But yeah, don't try and trade off anything you see, any quotes or articles or things you see on zero edge, because like I said, they have zero edge. But yeah, but anyway, so yeah, look, they're saying the Fed panics. I mean, this is a panic. This is a panic maneuver. This tells you that these guys know there is something wrong. Say for example, I have a car that's worth, say, $10,000 on paper, and then you come over and you're like, I'm not too sure, and I'm like, I'll tell you what, you can have it for 8,000, and then you start to think that's a bit suspicious, I'm definitely not sure now, and then I go 6,000, you can have it. I mean, that's basically what the Fed's doing. I mean, you know there's something wrong with that car if I'm that desperate. And yeah, so I'll leave you with that, guys. But yeah, I hope that does explain the situation to you. Remember, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'd like to thank all you guys that subscribe as well, because there's 100 of you now, or just over 100. So I'm actually really proud to have reached that landmark of 100 subscribers. And yeah, obviously I'm going to do my Bitcoin Dominator and DMT updates, but I'm also going to give you basically my opinions on what is going on in the financial markets, and I do a lot of research. This is literally all I really do with my time, is research, and basically study financial markets and everything that's going on, and study price action. And yeah, so if I can help you guys by passing on some of that information, because I understand when I first started getting into the financial markets. I mean, you see the information, you can read whatever you read, but actually digesting that information and knowing what the implications of that are not quite as easy as just clearly seeing information. So I mean, we can see with Bitcoin now, I think we're back under 5,500 now, which is roughly, well, round about the level we've been trading, sort of the top of the range we've been trading at all weekend anyway. So we've literally shrugged off just under $6,000 Bitcoin and gone straight back down. So Bitcoin is telling us the same. Well, it's just following the stock markets, which is showing the same vote of no confidence. But yes, anyway, I hope that's useful to you guys, and you appreciate me getting out of my bed to come and just share this information with you lot. So again, like a great big thank you for 100 subscribers, and yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you like the content, and I'll keep it all coming for you guys. Alright, speak to you in the morning.